a simple Easter basket. That's the only reason you know what Jedi Knight is. That's the only reason, and you still don't know. You only know what George Lucas convinced you of what he was, and he's wrong too. Okay, and I'll explain why I know that for a fact, because he didn't get it, he didn't make it up, and it didn't come from him. Okay, again, as a child, I pulled a percolator down on me. They say I didn't die. I regardless, I don't think I was in me, because I think I was in heaven and I was walking with two angels. They showed me this other angel who was like literally mowing down another army of people. Like, and it was in this glass thing where I was looking through a portal of some kind they were showing me. And I said, who is that? They told me his name, Jedi Knight. They told me, I was like, how is he that, so powerful? They said he uses the Force to fight evil. And I said, the Force, and they said, it's the will of God. Okay, now fast forward, 1974, April the 20th, I'm standing in my front yard. We're playing Pirates with two swords my brother got out of his Easter basket. His themed Easter basket for 1974 was Pirates. He had a little eye patch too. Okay, we were sword fighting, and I don't know why. I just didn't seem like I was doing very well, playing with the swords. And I said, okay, I'm Jedi Knight. I don't know if I said I'm Jedi Knight. I said, I'm Jedi Knight. I'm going to use the Force to beat you. And I started, and then my brother looks at me and goes, what's a Jedi Knight? I said, it's somebody who uses the Force to fight evil. And he goes, maybe you're the evil one. Now see again, and I said this in the last video, that when my brother said, you're the evil one, that stuck in his head, and so did when he told me it was stupid later on, because we were in Florida, and I said, I'm going to go put that on paper because that kid's cousin might steal it. He said, that's stupid. So between maybe you're the evil one and that's stupid, I reminded him of him saying that. And he remembers, like, again, my brother is the only witness I have that remembers, my younger brother, that remembers both times, that remembers me saying Jedi Knight's in the Force. My older brother remembers something night, because when I went in the house in Florida in 1974, right after we left Louisville, because, like I said, at the end of April in the last video, around April 20th is when we were playing in the yard, and Jack Hamburger heard me say it, who was George Lucas's cousin. He goes and tells something to George on the phone, because then after that, he's at my house every day trying to get me to come over to his house and get on the phone with George Lucas so he could pick my brain and see anything he could find out, or find out anything he could find out about Jedi Knights, where it came from, or who, maybe if somebody else maybe invented it. So he can't really use it if it's somebody else's without asking or finding permission or whatever. So he had no idea of who it belonged to. Again, it belongs to God, and the Jedi Knight himself. So the only one, there's only one. Trust me. And I hate when people say that, but I'm telling you, there is only one. You can't train to beat him. Okay. I saw him walking through armies of people like nothing, like not the Jedi's were, no, not the ones in George Lucas's movies. They would last about half a second. And that is why whenever we were playing Pirates, that's why I brought it up. That's why, because I knew he was way more powerful than a pirate. So why, otherwise, why would I bring up something that was weaker, or something that was less than, and where would I got it from? Exactly. Again, I pulled a percolator down on me when I was a little kid. They say I didn't die. I'm not saying that I did die for sure, but I wasn't in my body. I'll put it that way. I wasn't there because I was somewhere else. And that's, I believe, to this day, where I remember hearing and seeing his name, and it wasn't in a dream. because I remember it so well. It was like, it's too vivid to be just a normal dream, you know. And I've had some vivid dreams, believe me. That whole last video I posted, which was actually another video I made for another channel a while back, and I reposted it because part of that is the story of how I had forgotten what happened in 74, and then I put this book, I started writing this book in 87, and then I wrote a short version of it and sent it to somebody, and they didn't send it back, and it was Lucasfilm, and they kept it and they used it, and again, as I said, in 3 different movies. I think they used all 3 parts of it in 3 different movies, in all 3 of these movies. Again, it was Cocoon the Return, Ghost, and Warlock, which Warlock was one of the names that I was originally debating on naming the book instead of Rod of Iron, because I kind of didn't want to make God mad, but at the same time I was like, well, I want him to be like good, you know, not like just, and not somebody who's using magic, but somebody who's using actually God's will, like literally, and he could walk through walls and fly or do anything like that, right? What do they do to Warlock? They turned him into the Antichrist, and he wasn't supposed to be the devil in my book. He was like, go Jesus, the rule of the Rod of Iron, you know. So that's the whole point of the book being named Rod of Iron. And again, why I debated on not naming it Warlock, but then they stole the book, the name, and used Warlock instead of either one, and then ripped off part of my dream and put it in Cocoon the Return, and put parts of the things I said about him gaining power and being able to use the Force, and you know, the Force. Okay, think about this now. The Force has been around a lot longer than you realize. It wasn't something George Lucas invented. Look at Dracula. Look into my eyes, you know. Do what I take, you know. Mind control and the Force was around a lot longer ago than people realize, and they understand. I believe that there is a Force, and again, and you may not understand this, but when God, his word has force, because when he said, let there be light, when he created the universe, there was force behind it that caused these things to happen, that caused you to be here, that caused the universe to be formed. God's will, God's word has force. So whether you want to say he was this or that or whatever, you know, because there's some, I've heard some crazy stories about that, but you know what? God is God. The Son of God is Jesus. If Jesus healed people, he used, you know what I mean? So you don't really understand that. I believe the Force is very real, and George knows it's very real, and I think that's why he mocked God, and he named the Force as something that comes from bugs, little tiny single-celled bugs. He called them midi-chlorians. The lowest form of life in the universe is single-celled organisms. It's an insult. It is. It really is an insult to God. Again, so I didn't want to make a big long video, but I just wanted to bring up the Easter basket. Again, if what I said isn't true, you would not know Jedi Knights at all. If what I said wasn't true, you still would have never known Jedi. Because he didn't get it from anywhere else. He got it from me. Even if you didn't believe me, he would never know. He would have never known Jedi Knight, and you wouldn't either. What would he have named it anyway? I just wonder. You know, you know, I couldn't think of or thought about when I sit and try to think up a name like Evanian or something like sounds like really, and that's why I named my little mock movie thing for my videos Evanian. So because it kind of sounds cool. But Jedi Knight was my name is, first name is Ivan. So my wife's name was Anita. So I was going to make our company, when we first started to do a little, I was thinking of something like that, and I was sitting there mixing our names up. without the T. I guess Havanian. That's when I first, and then come to find out it's really a word too. So it's, and I'm not the first one to use it. So, but anyway, that doesn't matter. It's not here nor there. He got Jedi Knights for me when I was 7 years old. He tried to have me arrested once over it when I was being polite and writing to him and said, "Hey, remember me?" And that was 22 years after it happened, after he took it. Because, well, no, actually, that was 22 years. It was 25 years after he took it, because he got it 3 years before Star Wars came out. So technically, and I was trying to contact him in 2001. The movie came out in 77. So, and he got it from me in 1974, in April of 1974. As a matter of fact, like I said, around the 20th was the end of the week of Easter was Easter Sunday on the 14th. The 20th was Saturday. 21st would have been Sunday, right? Us kids always got out and played in the yard on the weekends. We didn't do much on the week during the week because we all went to school. You know, I know you all experienced that, right? If you had parents that cared about what you did, they didn't let you run during the week. You stayed, did your homework, and you did your chores and whatever. Okay, but Saturday we were free to play. So that's when I'm damn sure that it was around the 20th that Jack Hemberger was in the front yard. We were playing Pirates. He heard me say Jedi Knights. He went and told his cousin George Lucas. He came to my house every day after that for a week, at least. And so I believe it was the next weekend, the 27th, when he got me to come over to their house, got on the phone, and it couldn't have been much after that because we moved to Florida after that. And his first script, Eyes Only, Lucasfilm Star Wars, was on 574, May of 1974. So by that time, he had already gotten Jedi Knights from me. So by that, he had about a month's space there, if that he managed to get in there and put all the, he didn't have. I was wondering what he did for that character before that. I mean, he just had that he's using the Force, or did he have a name for him? He just called him by his name and never said Jedi. Never called him a Jedi. What did he call him before that? That's what I'm trying to get at. And then what did Lee Brackett think when he came in and said, hey, write this in, right? Because don't kid yourself into thinking he wrote Star Wars. He didn't. He couldn't write. Francis Ford Coppola again told him he needed to learn to write. He couldn't write. Okay. And he admits this. There's an interview. There was a couple with Charlie Rose, and one he actually said that he couldn't write. And he tells that story about Francis Ford Coppola, and he said something about Lee Brackett. So he basically tells you that he didn't write Star Wars, and he didn't. He didn't write it. Everything in Star Wars was stolen, either stolen from her or she gave it willfully by ghostwriting Star Wars, but he still didn't give her credit. So really, he still kind of stole it from her because he didn't. I think 20th Century Fox forced him to put her name again in the Empire Strikes Back credits. He put her in that. That's the only place she appeared. Yet her books and her husband's books had two robots, Otho and Greg, who were just like R2-D2 and C-3PO. They bickered and fight and picked on each other all the time. Same exact scenario. Tractor beams, light swords, Han, Ben, Kessel, Falcons, a ship's named the Falcon. Then there was the design for the Millennium Falcon. Looks just like the Submarine Hunter. I've shown this in other videos. The Bartini Beria VVA-14. He stole a soundtrack, partially from King's Row, partially from Gustav Holst's Planet Suite, partially from another composer that I can't think of his name. Somebody had Williams, or not Williams, no. There was another one, and somebody was playing it on. You could probably find it on YouTube anyway. But anyway, I didn't want to make this video real long. I just wanted to bring up a couple more points because I always forget that to mention, why would this kid go from playing pirates to playing Jedi Knight? Because he knew Jedi Knight was more powerful than any pirate, and he's more powerful than any Jedi in their movies. And trust me, he's not like anything you've ever seen in a battlefield. And if you ever read any of the old original Conan books, I don't think he would even stand a chance against Jedi. I know he would. You know, Jedi's like one of the most powerful destroying angels of God. So, and you have his name, and you've been using his name since 1977. Because of a thief who never gave God any credit at all, and he never mentions God in any of the Star Wars movies. So if you think he's a good man, plus he stole it. Plus he stole from Lee Brackett. Plus he stole characters. I mean, if you look at his boss, the bounty hunter, he's the Gorn from Star Trek. I mean, there's other ones too. The dancing girl. There was Vina, and the from Star Trek was who they based their dancing green lady on. That was, the Jabba the Hutt had on the chain. Anyway, I didn't want to make this video long, so I'm gonna cut it short there. I'm just letting y'all know. I'm gonna keep trying to stay with this a little bit more now, because things are coming out. I think there's a lot of people going down, especially when you come to intelligence agencies and everything. A lot of things coming to the surface, and I think eventually somebody's going to run their mouth, because, again, as I told you all, no one knew I had that evidence, that piece of paper I've showed y'all in both my last videos. That piece of paper nobody knew existed, except when I talked to my brothers on the phone, and I told y'all I asked my brothers to go get my document sleeve, which they didn't know what was in it. They didn't know that, but I think I said it. I need that piece of paper, and I said it to them twice. I don't think they ever really understood. I feel like they always kind of didn't take it seriously until later when I was talking to my younger brother. I said, man, do you not understand that piece of paper, proves my case against him, proves it. And again, I had this forensic lab in Lansing, Michigan, Eric Spickin Laboratories. He was going to do a forensic test the paper, test the ink, tell you when the two were put together, and it just looking at the name, he would have known. But again, like I said, he told me not to tell him anything about it. He was just going to test it, but he would have known as soon as he saw the name, Jedi Knight. He was going to say, and then he see 74. How did you get this 3 years before Star Wars came out, huh? The better question is, how did George get Jedi Knights 3 years before Star Wars came out, right? Anyway, take care of yourselves. Oh, and there is one other little thing. One of the first videos I did, there was an interview I think he did with Leslie Stahl. And he said to her it was sort of like a swashbuckling tale, right? Now, I think I recorded this clip, and I think I actually included it in one of my earlier videos. But I was looking for it a while back, and I can't find it anywhere. My video. So I have to go search through my videos and figure out which one I put that clip in. But that clip is in one of my videos, but I can't find it anymore. So it's kind of coincidental, right? Don't you think? Because we were playing pirates in the front yard when his cousin Jack Hamburger heard me say Jedi Knights in the Force, and that's when he ran back and told George Lucas. Now he says something about swashbuckling in this interview, but then all of a sudden the video, why would you hide it? Maybe it's not hidden. I mean, I just can't find it anywhere, but it seems kind of like weird that I can't find it. But anyway, I've looked and I can't find it. But again, I'm glad I recorded it. I think it's in one of my first videos. So I have to go back, like I said, and search through them and find where he said it. But it's in one of my videos. But anyway, you all take care now.